mandates. Okay. You know, if you're going to tell somebody that they have to provide a service, you should be willing to provide the money to provide that service. For the state to mandate that a county or a city then provides a service and is not willing to fund it, that is incorrect, because the state also mandates what the tax cap is for that city. So in effect, and I know this because I run for a municipal office, it puts a squeeze on the municipalities that many times they cannot afford, and they have to cut other services. So for the state to make a mandate, if they do, they need to fundate that mandate. Otherwise, it's a useless mandate. The counties, the municipalities, the cities, they all have responsibilities they're trying to meet. And they can't do it if the money's taken away from them.
Bobby Powell Jr. once again. I like to state that I believe I read that unfunded mandates or mandates that have been placed out there by the state are supposed to receive some funding from the state. We have a class size amendment. And of course, here in Palm Beach County, we were unable to meet that amendment. But I also believe that the state is supposed to provide some of the funding. If the state doesn't have the funding to make sure that these mandates are put in place, then we really don't have the barriers, or we don't have the justification to make sure that that's done. So in terms of unfunded mandates, to make sure that mandates that are unfunded are put in place, we'd have to develop performance measures on our level to streamline what we do in government to fund those mandates through the state. If the state mandated it, then I believe that the state should provide some type of assistance. Bobby Powell, thank you.
I'm Evelyn Garcia. I'm running for State House in Haiti. I don't want you to forget my name. When it comes to mandates from the state, I do agree that there's no question if the state mandates it, it certainly should put in the money. It has to put in skin in the game. But I think it starts, saying no to this starts at home. And when I'm a strong believer that in communities we need to make our decisions at the community level before it gets to the state, where very often it's out of our control. So I would say that we have to start by looking at the decisions made at the county level, at our city commissions and at the county level, and see how they impact, because the county, in cooperation with the state, will very often support those mandates that really don't belong here in the first place. Thank you.
I'd just like to be clear of what an unfunded mandate would be. An unfunded mandate would be a mandate that comes down from the state, a state level decision that affects a local government. Just so that everybody knows, like the class size amendment, that was decided on the state level, that every class or all classes throughout the state had to have a certain number of students. That's not something that the local government decided on its own. Thank you.
Rebuttal.
Mr. Powell, if you had bothered to have vote, you would have understand it wasn't the state that gave us a class size. It was the voters that put that amendment up on the ballot, and then it was the voters who voted for a class size amendment. Actually, Tallahassee was against it because they could not fund it. Tallahassee has recently tried to change that amendment to allow a few more children in each classroom so that it could be properly funded. And that was knocked down by the voters.
Thank you, Mr. Bantel. Point of reference, I did vote and I did understand that, but also just understand that when the voters did vote, it was something that had to be put in place by the state. When this happens, it's still a law, a state law. And you'd understand state laws if you would have filled out your paperwork correctly and properly qualified for the rest.
We're moving on to our final questions, and we'll allow each of the candidates an opportunity to ask
I didn't want to say anything.
We're going to allow each candidate to ask one final question of anyone else on the panel, and then we'll have our final remarks. And we'll start with Mr. Mantel.
Start, young man, please. Let's start.
Okay, I don't mind starting. Thank you. Is this final comments?
You can ask one question and then you'll have your final closing comment.
Well, I don't have any questions of my opponents, but I hope that all the voters of District 88 will have plenty of questions for these two candidates. I believe I am uniquely qualified.
It is for a question for the candidate, and then you'll have an opportunity for the closing statement as soon as you ask the final question. You don't have to pass it.
Quite honestly, I do not have a question for the other
And
candidates.
Mr. Powell, do you have a question for that?
Of course, since we're here, Mr. Mantel, you've run for office several times, and the other night you made a comment about my pen, which was incorrect, by the way, because I checked. So my question for you is, being that you run for office several times, did you not know that you had to actually file your paperwork to run before you took out a loan and opened up a campaign account?
I'm glad to see that you went ahead and reviewed that, and I went ahead and handed you the paper copy of that law. And matter of fact, it was voted in unanimously in both the Senate, and there was only 4 votes against it in the Assembly. Once again, what he's talking about is, and I am in dispute with this, with the Division of Elections. My paperwork was filed with the guaranteed delivery date of 12 noon on the 6th. Apparently, you cannot mail anything to the Department of State. They have an office closing time of 10 a.m. This is when they actually go to the post office, because the post office will not deliver to the Department of State. The Department of State will not pick up at the post office except for one time during the day. And their actual address for the Department of State is not the address in the qualifying information. And if you call the Department of State, they say that you must use a private courier to deliver paperwork to them, because they will come up to the office. Well, this was also tried. Apparently, the private courier doesn't go up there either. So the Department of State is in a hurry.
At this time, you'll all be allowed 1 minute for your closing remarks. And would you like to begin that, Mr. Mantel?
Once again, Charles Mantel, and I'm trying for this. And I have been working very hard in the political scene. I have gotten to know the politicians, the policies, how the municipalities work, how the tax flow goes, how the money goes. I happen to be a member of the Democratic Executive Committee. I have been working with them on issues, to kind of get the whole overall message through and keep things well for our neighborhood. I have very much enjoyed living in what many will consider a mixed community, and a community that it seems people just want to leave. I actually like it. I think it's a wonderful community, and others have went ahead and missed out on that opportunity. So I would like the opportunity to represent this district and bring all of our issues to Tallahassee and try to get us all a better deal. Thank you.
Once again, my name is Bobby Powell Jr., candidate for State House District 88, which is an open seat. I've worked in the district for the last 3 years. I know the people in the district, therefore I don't have to move into the district and find out who the people are. I've also worked in the community. I've done things such as advocating for citizens in the city of Riviera Beach. I've advocated for the citizens in the city of West Palm Beach. I'm the only candidate who's been endorsed by just about every member of West Palm Beach's City Commission, including the Mayor Jerry Moya, including the mayors of Boynton, as well as the city of Riviera Beach. Why? Because I've worked in the community and people know me. I worked against things such as putting a scrap metal processing center in the city of Riviera Beach, because those are the things that affect people who live where I live. I am Bobby Powell Jr. I'll continue to be accountable, ethical, and accessible. I'm the only person qualified to run for this office because I'm the only person who has worked in the district, lived in the district, and has taken the time to know the people prior to running for office. My name is Bobby Powell Jr. Thank you. And I'm also a member of the Young Professionals. Appreciate it.
Well, Bobby, I don't know where you were, but I also have worked and volunteered in the district. I live in Lake Worth now, which is just a little bit west of the newly redistricted 88. I lived in Boynton Beach before that. I have worked and volunteered in Riviera Beach, Pleasant City, in Lake Worth, in many projects. I know many people in those neighborhoods. I am someone who believes very much that public service is an honor. It's an honorable profession. And to serve the citizens is an honor. I have been graced by endorsements from women's organization, Emily's List, and I have been endorsed by organizations that protect working people and care for us, the AFL-CIO, and the Florida Teachers Association, and the Human Rights Council, because in addition to economic rights, our civil rights are extremely important, and we need to protect those in our communities. I'm Evelyn Garcia, by the way, running for State House 88. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates for District 88, Mr. Bantel, Mr. Powell, and Ms. Garcia. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. We're going to take a few minutes, and then we'll have our candidates for Senate.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys know that invitations were sent. We did send invitations to all of the candidates, and so I do want to give the candidates another round of applause for showing and coming out from the stage. We'll take about a 5 to 10 minute break, and then we'll resume with the next race.
Welcome back.
And minorities coming to the table and have an opportunity to do business. Our president is James Green, and we have Chanel Wilkins, who's the vice president. But all the members of the BDV could take a stand just for a moment to be acknowledged. Yes, sir.
I would like to say that if you're interested in becoming a member of the Black Village Boys Political Action Committee, we're a nonpartisan political action committee. We have applications here on the side, so if you're interested, just let me know. It's a great way to get involved with what's going on in your community and stay in front of the curve with some of the issues that we're addressing today. Okay? Thank you.
Absolutely, and as part of our economic support, we are hosting a cash mob at the Mahogany Bookstore and Cafe, which is in Royal Palm Beach on the corner of Jog Road and Okeechobee Boulevard. That will be Friday, August the 3rd, starting at 5:30 p.m. So we do invite you all to come out and support that local Black business. We do encourage you to come and spend $15 to $20 in that business and let them know that we're here. And if we want other people to support Black businesses, we have to start amongst ourselves. Hello, how are you? Black BMW. Black BMW FCC 1A. All right. And now we're going to hear a little bit about the Urban League Young Professionals.
Once again, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out to our empowerment, and I'm calling it empowerment forum. The Urban League's mission is to really just empower our community. We have so many initiatives. We have healthcare initiative, child care initiative, health initiative, and as the YP organization, we're here, the 20 to 40-year-old group here to just support that mission. We too are also accepting applications for anybody who'd like to come out and support our organization or the Urban League. At this time, I'd like to, in addition to myself, I am the president of the YP organization, introduce our board. We have our vice president here, Tiffany Fogelau, please stand up. And really the lady who keeps us all going, the nuts and bolts of the organization. We have our executive secretary here. Please, Winnie Kelly, please stand up. We had our treasurer here, Tracy. Tracy has left, but if I'm missing anybody currently on the board, I believe I saw NECA was here. She's left, okay, then that's all. But our meetings are, right now we're in